I'm Nancy Judd, and I am a 3-year breast cancer survivor, yay! And I've lived in Cookeville now for 35 years. I'm from Nashville, but I married my college sweetheart and we moved here and have been here ever since. And I'm a nurse, but I'm an educator as well, so what I do now is teach. Well, you know, the thing about breast cancer for a lot of us is that you're just going along every day and it's just normal and you feel fine. And then all of a sudden you get a phone call saying, oh, well, by the way, you have breast cancer. And it's just devastating because one minute you're fine and then the next minute it's, oh my goodness, I've got this potentially very bad diagnosis. So I was diagnosed at Cookeville Regional and worked with Erin Young, the breast navigator, who was wonderful, and she helped me through the process. I just went in for my regular mammogram. I have a little bit of a family history, so I was pretty good about going. I was a little bit late on it, but not just a few months. But went in for my mammogram, and it was just routine, and the next thing you know, it was cancer. So those mammograms are important to get. From there, I went to Vanderbilt, and that's where I had to have a total mastectomy with I have what's called DCIS, which if you're going to have breast cancer, that's the best kind to get. Okay. So that was really good news, but it was so extensive already from one year to the next. It had already grown so much that they had to do a total mastectomy, so that's what I had. And then all of my follow-up treatment and my reconstruction and everything was done at Vanderbilt. Recovery's tough. It's a lot to go through, and the reconstruction piece is just kind of grueling. It was over a year before I was completely finished with everything, and you have to go about once a week, and it's just a lot. You have to really just keep your nose to the grindstone and try to keep positive, and it's just a lot to go through. The beauty of DCIS is that you don't have to have chemo, and with a total mastectomy I didn't have to have the radiation. So I was lucky. I'm a very lucky person and very blessed, and so I was fortunate that I didn't have to have anything more than that. I was very happy with the treatment that I got, and I've done very well. My doctor said the last visit that I was doing so well that next time I get to just see the nurse practitioner, so I won't have to see the doctor. So that was exciting, and that was always good news. So I've made another step, a little more progress. There were a couple of reasons why I chose Vanderbilt. First of all, my family's down there. So I had all the support of my mother and my sister right there. So they could go with me to treatment, and they were right there for the surgery, and it made it easier for them. That was one thing. And the other thing is, at Vanderbilt, they have a breast cancer center, and that's what they do all day long, and that's what the surgeons do all day long, and they don't do anything else, any other kind of surgery. So they're very, very specialized, so that's why I went there. You know, and not to be trite, but I swear it's just exactly like you see in the movies. Your whole life just kind of flashes in front of your eyes, and you think immediately about all the things that you wish you had done, and those for me were kind of an odd conglomeration of things. The first thing, of course, was spend more time with my family. That was the very first thing I thought, oh, I wish I had not worked so hard and so many hours and maybe spent more time enjoying my family. And then there were projects at work that I wish I had worked harder on. So that was kind of a little bit of a conflict there, because you get into the time issue. But there were things I wish I had done, because at that point in time when they said it was invasive, I wasn't sure what I was facing. And then there were little things like I wish I had redecorated part of the house, and just things like that I wish I had done, that I kept putting off and putting off, thinking there's always tomorrow, but there's not. So I have a whole new appreciation for time. and an urgency about time that I never had before. Right. Once it's changed, it's always changed. It doesn't go back. Now, instead of cleaning the house, I get in the boat and go to the lake. Yes, it is a much higher quality lifestyle. That's right. But you know what? I spend a lot more time with my family than I did, so it's been wonderful from that aspect. You've got another chance to do the things that you thought about doing or that you wanted to do, and somehow in a way it makes you braver, makes you stronger, so that you're more willing to step out there and do some of the things that maybe you were intimidated by before. So that's been a nice kind of side effect to it all. I think it's important to be positive, especially. I've always been a happy person anyway, just by nature. I'm just happy. But it's hard to be happy when somebody tells you you have breast cancer, but I think it's important to maintain that positive outlook. I have been so lucky. My husband is just wonderful. He still goes with me because it's still scary. Even after 3 years, it's still scary. I think people lose sight of that. You're still in treatment, so to speak, because you're having to go back, and you have to go every 6 months, and they have to check things out. So he goes with me. So he was a huge supporter, and he's nice and calm, and he's very positive. So that was good. When I would get upset or overly concerned, he would be able to calm me down and bring back the positive aspect to things. And then my boys, I have 2 boys, I don't know if I mentioned that, but they're 25 and 21, and they were real helpful. They were good. They kept me distracted and showed so much care and concern, and so that was wonderful. And good friends. I have a wonderful friend who is a breast cancer survivor, and when I immediately found out my diagnosis, I called her. She was at the beach, but I called her. I said, "You've got to help me. What am I going to do now?" So she helped me with just different options and different things that you can do. And then Erin, you know, the breast navigator at the cancer center, she was instrumental in the initial phase of what do I do, because you almost can't think at first, and so she was real good to help me. Yeah, and she's a good support throughout the whole thing. I mean, she even called me to tell me, she's the one that told me that I had breast cancer, because my doctor was out of town and she didn't want me to have to wait. And so I thought that was real sweet, and she called me and told me, and she was at my office within 5 minutes. She was there, book in hand. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we've got to face. Now, this is the next step. So that was a lot of good support. And of course, my sister and my mother. So they were very supportive, very helpful. So that's how you get through it. You just kind of pull in your resources and take it from there. I know one of the people that I called, that's the way I process things, is I talk. So I called a lot of different people to find out, you know, just to gather information. That's the way I problem solve. And one of the girls said to me, "You've got to realize, Nancy, that from now on you are a survivor." And I thought those were such powerful words, and it made me feel like I was going to be okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. So it was those kinds of things that really made a big difference. Let's just do what we need to do, because I am definitely a survivor, so this is going to be fine. We just need to do a few things to make it fine. You know, I would have missed a lot of big things. I would have missed things like graduation from high school and graduation from college, and my son getting married. I would have missed those things. But those things aren't what I really longed for. It was the moments of days with my family that is what I really missed. It was the moments. the unplanned time that you have together, where you're just sitting around watching a TV program or a movie, or you're making a meal and just sitting together. That's what I missed, and that was what I wanted to make sure I made happen from now on, or from that point on, was to be able to have moments together, because I think that's where life happens. Those other things are great and important, but it was just the time together that I think I would have really missed out on, and would have regretted not having the most. Absolutely, the little things are the biggest ones. That's exactly right. Well, you just always think you have time to do it later, and you don't. So now I make it happen. So I make time where we have just unstructured, unplanned time. And that's nice, especially when everybody's working and running around and there's so much going on. So that's a blessing. Positive attitude, like we talked about, I think that was key. And I think having the guidance from my good friends and them helping me kind of go through all the different options, because I could have gone several different ways with things, and having their advice and counsel was really helpful. So that's really what contributed the most, I think. And belief in God, of course, and the fact that, you know, you can be healed, and those kinds of things are just, you know, what makes the difference. My church was very, they just wrap their arms around you, you know, when you're sick. And so that healing power that they have just translates to me. So I think that helped a lot too. You don't know, they're all out there. It's, you know, if there's anything good about it, you do realize how many friends you have and how many people really do care. And people out of the woodwork would, let me drive you to Nashville, let me go with you to your treatment, and we'll go have lunch afterwards. And it's just amazing the people that you would run into that were willing to help you. It's just great. You take away a lot of good positive things from it, as crazy as that may sound, but you really do. Oh gosh, the main thing is if you're over 40, get a mammogram. That's just imperative. If they hadn't found mine when they did, there's no telling what kind of situation I would have been in, because it was moving. Even though the kind I have takes years to develop, it was moving along pretty quickly. So definitely get that mammogram. I think that's the main thing. Self-breast exams are so important. Knowing your own body is key. But that's what women need to do. They need to just take the time to go and have that mammogram, know your family history, and do your monthly self-breast exams. And then if you can catch cancer early, like I did, then your chance of survival is outstanding, and it doesn't just totally wreck your life. It's important to just reach out and touch a lot of people and let them know, you need to go get that mammogram. I made sure my mom and my sister did. It's been quite a journey, but it's been a positive thing. It's brought about some good changes in my life, and if you're going to get breast cancer, at least I got the one where I can wear pink from head to toe. Right. Oh, Susan G. Komen has been so important to my recovery. It has been, not only has it given me a place where I can be with a good support system, a good group there's a lot of breast cancer survivors that are a part of that group in the Upper Cumberland affiliate. And so it's given me that, but more importantly, it's given me a place where I can give back. I get to work with the Race for the Cure, which will be September the 23rd this year. So we're always excited about the race, and that committee is just a group of strong, empowered women who are just passionate about the mission of Susan G. Komen. And that's what, it's just inspiring. It's wonderful to be a part of it. So I get to work with them and benefit from it as well. So I love Susan G. Komen. I just think they do great things. 75 cents of every dollar stays right here in the Upper Cumberland. I mean, you can't beat that. The other 25 cents goes to research, which is so needed. So, you know, you don't have all those administrative overhead costs and those kinds of things with Susan G. Komen that you find with some others. It stays here, helps women who can't afford mammograms get mammograms, helps people who can't afford to go to Nashville get gas vouchers and they can go to Nashville. So if that's where they choose to go, if that's what they need. Because there's options, that's right. So it does a lot of good work here in the area.